Well, hello there and welcome to another episode of Back to the Clubs with me, Major K. I'm a DJ, producer and record label boss, and in this series I'm talking to other DJs about their club experiences. Do they get nervous before a set? What was their first club experience? And do you always answer with a question? Those are but a few of the questions I'm asking every week, and the answers are often surprising. In previous episodes we had EV, Insulate, DJ Licious, Vanilla Ace and JD as a guest, amongst others. Today, Tomorrowland and Versus Club mainstay Dave Lambert. But first, be sure to subscribe to Back to the Clubs in your podcast app. Give the show a raving rating too. It helps more people find the podcast. Thanks in advance. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/officialmajork. Get bonus content by subscribing and supporting, like a free download of one of the tracks of my record label Flash Forward Presents. Do check my 2 weekly mix podcast Flash Forward Presents with Major K in your podcast app as well, and support Ukraine by buying merchandise in my online dance music merchandise store flashinghotshop.com. Dave Lambert then, or Dave Lambert as we call him here. First met this Belgian many years ago when I was covering Tomorrow World, that was Tomorrowland in the States, for our national broadcaster. He played a banging gig there, and I was also privy to a great after-party set when the festival was over. He is a DJ all the way with a residency at Club Versus in Belgium. This Saturday, the 7th of May 2022, Dave does his birthday bash there together with EV and special guest Fede Legrand. So enjoy the show. Here we go.
Back to the Clubs with Major K.
With today one of Belgium's finest DJs for over 1 decade, well, almost 2 decades, Dave, am I right?
A long time.
Let's say a long time, yeah. And a DJ pur sang, as we say in correct English, because that has always been your focus in your career. You did produce some tracks, of course, yes. You did some remixes and mix albums, but the DJing, that's what's really important for you.
Yes, that was number one, because that's also how I started, so it was really all about the music and being a DJ, which started when I was about, I think 16 years old, so a long time ago. And that was always my focus, and producing records was something that, came along during the road that I took over the past 30 years, so.
Yeah.
And I'm still at it, actually, so.
Yeah.
Again.
And those tracks, was that because you thought, well, times have changed a little bit and you need to have some tracks to your name, or?
Actually, there was a funny story, because I was working for a record company, which made me be in contact with a lot of producers, and it was actually Electrokid back in the day that said, why don't you do a record together with me? I said, I never thought about it, why not? And that's how we came about producing which was the very first record, and actually still one of the best I did release today. So yes, that's actually, it all happened naturally and organically, and it wasn't planned, or it just happened.
Yeah. And so at the record company, what were you doing? Were you in A&R or in another capacity?
The first 6 years or 5 years, something like that, I was doing all the promotions. So I did all the radios, I did all the magazines, I did the television stations. I actually promoted a lot of really fine bands like Moloko and Nickelback and Slipknot and a lot of other bands. So a very wide range of different styles of artists. And then the last 5 years I worked more as an A&R, so I really signed records mainly for Benelux and some for the world, and I also was in charge of all the club compilations. So I think I did compilations with all the finest clubs in Belgium. So
Yeah. And it must have been a really great period in your life as well, because I saw that there was a golden record of Moloko hanging at your wall just now. So you're really proud of that period, I think.
Of course, yeah, because it was an exciting time, especially being able to work with bands such as Moloko with Roisin Murphy was was how should I say it, was special. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has that kind of reputation that
Yeah,
she's
but
a
she is
really
really like that.
special.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So funny anecdote was that when we did interviews, it always had to be in a really nice hotel, real cozy setting, and in between every interview, she had like a 15-minute break, which she asked. So. And during that time, she was drinking champagne. So you can imagine if you have a 15-minute gap between every interview and she starts drinking champagne at the end of the day. It was a lot of bottles. So, so the interesting thing was that you saw the evolvement of the interviews. At the end, it was special to say the least.
Yeah, and then you can ask yourself which interviews were the best. Were they at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day?
Let's say they all had something special.
Yeah. Say, you did some compilations for a
Yes.
lot of clubs. Were you the one who chose the records then as well, or how did that work?
The ones that I mixed, so the ones that really were out of my hand, yes, I did everything. I did all the track listing. I did the actual mix. I don't know how many I did, but I think it's 40, 50 compilations I did
Yeah.
over all the years. And but I also did a lot of other compilations where other people made a track list and did all the mixing. So I did both.
Oh yeah. So for instance, for a club, it wasn't that the club said, well, those are the records that did really well in our club here. These are the records that you should have on the compilation. No, you just made the list yourself, perhaps checked with them. Okay, this is what it's gonna be. That okay for you or?
Yeah, like I said, if I did the actual mix of the compilation, then it was really what I wanted on the compilation and also what I could get, because it's not that you can request every track and get it for a compilation. So sometimes, some tracks weren't available that you really wanted on the compilation, or they were just, too expensive to put on the compilation. So yeah, mainly if I didn't do the mix and somebody else did it, then I requested a track list of 100 tracks or 50 or 80 tracks, depending on how long the compilation should be. And then we started clearance of all the tracks and then saw what actually was cleared for the compilation or what wasn't. So that's
Yeah.
how we did it. Yeah.
And at this moment, you're a full-time DJ then?
I'm a full-time DJ, but I'm also responsible for all the international bookings at Versus. So I do all the international bookings, and next to that, I also have a separate company with a friend of mine, and we also provide international DJs for festivals such as Beauville Festival and some other festivals. So, and we actually try and secure the international names for the bigger festivals.
Yeah.
And next to that, I'm also in charge for Versus on tour. So everything that happens outside the club, festival wise or club wise, or if we do a hosting, then I do everything from A to Z.
Yeah. Okay, well, Versus, that's the first club name that fell today, and I guess that we are going back to Versus in a couple of minutes again, because that's a really important one in your life, I think. But let's start at the first club that you ever went to, not as a DJ, but as just a party goer. Do you remember what that club was?
Actually, I know, but I have to put it in two directions, because it's not really a club, but it's like a youth house, or how do you say it? For younger people.
Yeah.
So, and it was called Barst in Burgt, and it was like a metal and skate place. So all the skaters came together, and it was like hardcore rock music that they played there. And that was actually, I think, the very first party I went to when I was about 15 years old. So
yeah.
And
so your musical interests were more in that direction then at that moment?
In the beginning it was more all of the Seattle scene, like Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Mudhoney, you know, like really not the main bands such as Nirvana. I like Nirvana, but yeah, it was more the more lesser known Seattle bands that I was into, and I also had a death metal period with bands like
Oh
Napalm
my
Death and
god.
Carcass and Fear Factory, and yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so I started out with with metal and rock, and then actually did my own parties in that style when I was 16, 17 years old in Paradox, which is now Café Local.
In
And
Antwerp.
so the very, very first club I actually went to, I think it must have been La Roca. So it wasn't Café Local, because during the days when I was working as a metal DJ, because I was also DJing metal and rock music, it was mainly on Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday we went out. So the main clubs I went to in the beginning was Café d'Anvers and La Roca. Those were the two clubs I really went to.
Yeah. Talked a bit about La Rocca a couple of episodes ago with EV, who went there a lot of the times as well. How sad it was that the story of La Rocca ended, and especially, how that story ended.
hmm Yeah, it's like if you would have written this 30 years ago in a story that it would burn down the weekend before the final party, and nobody would believe that. But yeah, it happened. So yeah, it's a shame, and I think the vibe that was in La Roca is was unseen in Belgium, and yeah, for me it was one of the finest clubs to go to as a clubber and also to play in.
Yeah. Can you describe that vibe a little bit? Can you describe the what the club looked like, and yeah, how the
Ho-
people were?
Actually, you had the idea, you stepped into your living room, and I think that was one of the main reasons why you had that kind of familiar atmosphere and everybody knew each other. You know, cannot count the days that on a Sunday I just went there alone, you know, without anybody, and stepped in. And if there was like 600 people, I think 400 people you knew. So you were never alone if you went to La Roca. And that's something in a lot of clubs that you can't find. So I think, yeah, La Roca had that familiar touch, and everybody knew each other, and it was like one big happy family, and everybody came for the music, not for the show, you know, or not to show off with drinks or whatever. No, everybody just came to dance and to listen to Marco's music on Sunday. So yeah.
Yeah, because those weekends were legendary as well. Started really early and ended really late, or well, early on Monday
Early, yeah.
morning.
Yeah,
Depends on your view.
yeah.
Yeah, I had the honor to perform there myself a couple of times in the backstage, which was really fun because the atmosphere was so good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you had the main room, the backstage. They were really complementary to each other. People, well, they wanted to discover new music. Perhaps new DJs came into the backstage, saw my
Mm-hmm.
crew perform, while in the other room was, for instance, Show Me doing their regular gigs. Yeah, it was for me as well so sad to see if when I woke up on Monday
Mm-hmm.
morning before the last weekend to see no way this happened. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that for someone like you who has performed there so many times, your
Yeah.
heart must have been bleeding at that moment.
Yes, for sure, because also Wim is I can say, is a friend. Yeah?
Yeah,
So, and if you saw him sitting on the bed of the ambulance after everything happened, is yeah, it's really sad to see, and I really hope that we can still manage to do like a proper goodbye party for all the La Roca followers in yeah, somewhere in the next coming weeks, months.
yeah.
So I'm sure it will happen. Where it will happen, I don't know, but I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah, and perhaps for Wim as well, Wim, who was the owner and
Yes,
founder of La Rocca all
the
those years ago.
Godfather.
The Godfather, yeah, the Godfather, really the
Yeah.
Godfather. Yeah, it was, yeah, a special period that came to a close at that moment,
hmm
I think. Yeah,
Yes, yes, and I think everybody was so hyped about having that last party, because yeah, I think it would have been really, really crowded. So yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, shit happens, like they say.
Shit happens indeed. Was La Rocca the first venue that you played at as a DJ? Because you said, yeah, I did my own parties, more rock and whatever. So you were a rock and roll DJ at that moment as well, and that was your first experience then? Yeah.
Yes, as a DJ, that was my first experience
Yeah.
playing in Paradox and all
Yeah.
the youth houses in and around Antwerp. And then it evolved into all the student parties, and
Yeah.
then clubs started. So it all came organically and naturally. So yeah, actually rolled into it because my original business plan wasn't to become a DJ. So the
That
original
wasn't
plan,
that was never anything that you aspired to be a DJ? No.
no, it just happened.
Okay.
Uh,
And you just
so the real plan was I did sports in university. So I have my degree as a sports teacher. Never did anything with it, so I have the degree. It's laying here somewhere in the house. I don't even know where.
Yeah.
So I never did anything with that. But the idea was, to give some sports lessons in school, like 21 hours a week, which made me have a lot of extra time to do the other passion I had, was being a tennis player. So at the
Oh,
extra
yeah.
hours,
Yeah.
the idea was to give tennis lessons. So,
Yeah, and I must say you're still very good at it. We managed to play a couple of years ago.
Exactly. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
you were very good. Let's. But okay. So that's a kind of very different direction that you wanted to go
Yes.
in. But I guess as your fixture now in the house DJ scene here in Belgium, not only in Belgium, but that you're really happy with the choice that you made eventually.
Of course, yeah. I think I had a great life so far, and it's still happening, and it's still, every year I think maybe this year it's gonna be a little bit less, because you get older and whatever. But I don't know what, but it still keeps on happening, and all the requests keep on coming, which
Yeah.
I'm really thankful for, because it's a passion. It was always a passion, even when I was younger, when I was 12, 13 years old, that's when music started for me. And to be able to make your profession out of what you really love to do is unique, and I'm really thankful for that.
And I guess especially in Belgium, there's almost no venue that you haven't performed at.
I think I played everything.
Yeah, I think so too, because every weekend you're, well, not only once, twice, or thrice, sometimes four times or more. You have your DJ gigs even now, and certainly when now everything is starting up again. That's incredible. And is it manageable as well? I guess yes, but if you have to go from the seaside to more inlandish parties, that's a difficult one, no?
Is it manageable? Yes, it is, but sometimes it's really tight. So you don't calculate that something can go wrong, like a traffic jam or whatever. So it's very tightly programmed. And yes, it is manageable, and it is what I love to do. But I have to say, Corona made me realize that there is also something else besides playing 5 gigs in one day. Sometimes it's better to only play 2 or 3 and enjoy a little bit more, because if you have 5 gigs, or even one time I did 6 gigs in one day, which was unmanageable, but I managed to pull it off at the end. But it was crazy, because that doesn't even leave you time to go to the toilet, so
No. It all happens in a rush at that moment,
Yes.
and then, as you say, you can't
you don't have
enjoy
the
the
time
moment.
That's the thing. You don't have the time to take a step back and to see the production of the festival, or you just don't have the time. It's go on stage, perform, go off stage, drive to the next one, go on stage. So you just don't have the time to to realize what you're doing actually. So,
No.
and that's something during Corona that made me realize, yeah, it's good to have all the gigs, and it's good to be there and try to do everything. But yeah, sometimes it's maybe better to take a small step back and realize what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to the clubs now. What does a good club need to really excel and to impress?
Okay, so the very first thing for me is the sound system. I think to have a good sound system is very important, because yeah, if you don't feel the music, you can play whatever you like, but it's not gonna kick in with the people on the dance floor. So that's a first. Then the second thing is it's the right staff, the right people behind the bar, the right people who are accommodating everybody that's inside and make them feel good. I think the doorman, so all the staff from the club is also a really important thing. Obviously, also like the light jockey, the lights, to put on the perfect setting and the perfect mood for the music that you're playing. And then of course the music.
Yeah, three main elements really.
Mm-hmm.
What nowadays happens is more like the show element. Is that something that's important to you, or you think it's necessary to have that in a club to just get people to go to a club?
I think people are spoiled nowadays, and they've seen everything, especially if you've been to Tomorrowland or even Versus or even Zillion back in the day. Is it necessary? No, because I think music still needs to be focus number one, and not everything that happens around. But yeah, does it help to attract more people, or does it help to make people come in and discover what you're all about? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If I would open a club, I think I would mainly focus on the music and don't do all the extras like dancers and like CO2 and maybe some flames, and that all adds to the show and to the pictures that are taken, and it also creates a certain vibe. The confetti bursts, it helps, yes, for sure. But yeah, if you go to Berlin, you don't have that, and still there is a fantastic atmosphere. So, is it necessary? Yes and no. It's a question with a double answer.
Yeah. Is there a DJ that you saw perform at the club who blew you away, who you thought, well, that gig, that DJ set, those 2 hours, for instance, those were so amazing?
Yeah, for me it's very simple. It's Marco on Sundays, because for me he was the guy that could keep on building for 2 hours, 3 hours, without giving anything to the crowd, and still keep them, and still have the atmosphere. And he could really say, okay, now La Rocca is gonna explode in 10, 9, 8, and he really could create the atmosphere, and he did a perfect job, and also he's the DJ I think I listen to the most, because I think the Sundays I didn't go are countable on my 2 hands. So so I was there almost every Sunday, and then when Marco quit, I had the chance to take over on Sunday from him. So I became a resident once a month on Sundays in La Rocca next to Yuri. Which was a big task to live up to, because
big shoes to
Marco
fill.
was like an icon.
So Marco de la Rocca left a big impression on you. Did you ever play a gig that you left a big impression on other people? I mean, is there a gig that comes to mind that you think, well, this is the gig of a lifetime?
I think one of the most magical moments is the first time I played the main stage of Tomorrowland, obviously, because it was a very special story. Actually, I just finished my set at the Versus stage, and I came in the backstage, and there was Axwell standing, and he wasn't playing on the main stage because apparently, the power went off, and it didn't happen once, but it happened like 3-4 times. And actually, he really wanted to quit because a lot of people left the main stage due to the technical problems. And then Michiel, the owner, he also was there, and he said to me, "Dave, please be ready. If he doesn't want to play anymore, you need to play." It was like, yeah, okay, no problem. So Axwell went back on stage, and I think 5 minutes later again the power dropped, and Axwell said, "Sorry, man, but I'm really gonna stop because it's like the 5th time I've been starting up the main stage again." So then Michiel said, "Dave, do whatever you want to do, but you need to play." So I went on to the main stage, and then the power didn't drop anymore because they finally found the problem. So I had like 45 minutes playtime left on the main stage of Tomorrowland, and replaced Axwell. And at the end of the set, the main stage was full. So that was like a magical moment for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I guess, as it was a surprise that you were going to play there, you didn't have the time to get nervous.
I'm never nervous.
No? Ever?
No.
Not even like 2 minutes before your set starts?
It's like a positive stress, but it's not stress. It's not. I cannot pinpoint the exact feeling I have, but I don't have any problems. I've been playing for a long time, so it would be strange if I would have a lot of stress before going on stage right now. So
you were able to enjoy every minute of that Tomorrowland performance.
For sure. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and I think the year after or 2 years after, I played the main stage again, but then announced.
Yeah, was that a better experience or just a different experience?
It was different because it was the very first set of the day, so people were just starting to get in. So of course, if you can replace Axwell on a really good hour on the main stage of Tomorrowland, it's something different than doing the very first set, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, back to the clubs now. Is there a club that you have been to the most as a DJ or just as a party goer?
I think that's, as a DJ, it's very simple. It must be Versus because I have a 20-year residency. So I think this is the club. It's like a second home. And as a party goer, I think La Rocca.
Yeah, La Rocca, the sadly deceased. Versus, that's your story as well. As you said, 20 years residency over there.
Yes.
Still regarded as one of the best clubs in the world, voted for by a lot of people. Why do you think that it resonates so much with people? Why do they think Versus is such a good club, you think?
It's a very professional club, that's the least to say, and it has all the features and all the technical aspects a large club needs to have. So I think it's a combination of the right management, the right people that work there, the right DJs, and it's like a family. And I think that's also the reason that we're still so strong after 20 years. And next to that, we're also programming quite diverse. So it's to please a lot of different types of music lovers.
Yeah, and I notice it's kind of a brotherhood as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, in 20 years, it's a long time. And me and Yves Smolders, the owner of Versus, we go back from our Zillion days. So actually, it started in Zillion for us, and then we moved together to Versus, and we're still working together after 25 years, which is yes, I think it's strange in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the longevity that you have with that club. It's really amazing and still going strong after all those years. That's a real feat, I think. I guess for you, Versus is the best club in the world. But if you would take Versus out of the equation, what other club comes to mind to bear that title?
It doesn't exist anymore, but that must have been Space Ibiza, for sure. High is also a really, really nice club, but it doesn't have that magical touch that Space had back in the day. And if a club comes to mind that I also really love is DC-10, also in Ibiza. I played a lot of clubs all over the world. I've been to Japan. I've been really almost in every continent in the world. So I saw a lot of clubs, but yeah, Ibiza still is on the number one on my list. So a lot of clubs in Ibiza, also Pasha. I also love Pasha. I love all the clubs in Ibiza because they have that special vibe, that special touch.
Yeah. If people perhaps haven't visited DC10 yet, what can they expect when they go there?
Underground and people partying.
Okay.
Yeah, simple as that.
Simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah. No VIP business. There is a VIP in DC10, but it's not connected to any of the rooms. So it's backstage. It's a backstage. And the fun thing is you have all the people from the industry in the backstage, and it's fun to have a drink and have a chat. And yeah, so also most of the time if I go to DC10, I'm not on the dance floor, but I'm in the backstage talking to people.
Yeah, which is nice as well, that you have like
Yes.
a place where you can gather up and
Hang out,
talk to
yeah.
loads of great people as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And Space Ibiza, there were talks that they are going to reopen or do something similar again. Do you know the most recent news about that development?
Yeah, the thing I've heard is that they're going to do it in San Antonio. So that's the latest news and intel I have. But I think it's I don't know if it's going to be for next season or the season after. But I know they're talking about it, and I think the idea was to take over Esperadi and transform it into space.
You think that might work? Because the location is really important
Different.
and it's different. So will they be able to recreate that same vibe that Space had?
It's a different era and a different time, so I don't know if it's going to be the same as the original Space, but I think the guys behind it sure know how to create that vibe. So, and I think location is not that important. It's still on the island, so it's people can drive to it. So I don't see any problems there. I think it all depends on the lineup, and that's going to be great because I also heard Carl Cox is involved. So everybody will be able to play there.
Yeah, and as Carl Cox was one of the big stars of Space, if he pulls his weight, so to speak, then a lot of things can happen.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Is there a club that you haven't played at before that you really want to play at? Top of your bucket list?
DC10.
DC10, yeah. So you've been there as a party goer, meeting people, but you didn't have the privilege to play a set
Not
there.
yet, no. I think I played every club in Ibiza except for DC10. Played Amnesia, played Pasha, I played Ushuaia, I played Amnesia, I played Privilege, but the only club I didn't play in Ibiza is DC10.
Okay, well, I'll tag DC10 to this interview,
Great.
and
Yes.
hopefully they will hear that and how you like the club, how you love the club, and perhaps that opens doors again. I hope so for you. Apart from, I guess, Tomorrowland, what other clubs are we going to see you perform at in the next couple of weeks and months?
Then I should look at my diary because I know what I have to do today, but I really have no clue what I have to do next week. So I think the easiest thing is to go to my website, djdavelambert.com, and click on agenda, and then you will see all the gigs that I am doing in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and there's a lot of gigs coming up, that's for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially looking forward to Extrema Outdoor also.
Right.
One of the,
in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the highlights every year as a festival. I love the vibe, and I think next to Tomorrowland, it's one of the best in Belgium for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see you play there and see you have a lot of fun, and we will have a lot of fun on the dance floor as well. That's for sure.
I'm not going to have a lot of fun because after my set I need to go to the airport, so I don't have any time this year to enjoy. But
the full schedule. Damn.
Full.
Yeah,
so I play 2 hours in the beginning and then I go straight to the airport. So that's it for me, Extrema this year.
Yeah. Well, try to enjoy anyway.
I will.
As much as you can. And thanks for talking to us. Thanks for being a guest in Back to the Clubs. And hope to see you soon, Dave.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
Dave Lambert, or when you really want to make more time for yourself, but the love for DJing catches up on you. Don't forget to subscribe to Back to the Clubs in your podcast app and find me as @officialmajork on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Also, and even more important, go buy some dance music merchandise at flashinghotshop.com and support Ukraine with merch from, amongst others, Tanzgemeinschaft, Insulate, Jana Vitiligo and Flashforward Presents. And Back to the Clubs. Get our teas at flashinghotshop.com. See you next time and enjoy the sunshine. Bye bye.
Back to the Clubs with Major K.